Short-term pleasure or long-term gain? Let's just get straight into it. Baijan! You see, Baijan, he was just like you. He was an 18, 19-year-old kid. And he had all the desires of the world. He had all the junk food, the Miami's burgers. He had the girls. He had all these things. But it was only when he was older that he realised the difference between short-term pleasure and long-term gain. You see, when I refer to that, it means the short-term pleasure of something, which the now, right? So when you eat a burger, you get that feeling of satisfaction at that point. When you masturbate, you get that feeling of pleasure at that point. However, long-term, there's no benefits. If you keep eating burgers every single day, sure, you get the pleasure then, but long-term, you're gonna get fat. If you keep beating your meat every day, you'll destroy your brain and you'll be an absolute weirdo who's drained out half of the time and no energy, right? So this is the key. This is what I'm saying, the short-term pleasure and the long-term pleasure. You see, let's go back to Baijan. Right, so Baijan realized this at a very young stage, because before he was just like you. He was beating his meat all the time, he was doing this and do all that, but then he learned that, hey, if I do something like go to the gym or make some content or revise for my exams, now, surely now you won't get the results. However, long-term you will. You see, I always look at the gym as the epitome of life. When you start the gym and you start going every week, you don't see any results. Sure, maybe you can lift a bit heavier, but you're looking at your arms and you're like, there's no progress. What's happening? I'm working hard, nothing's happening. But it compounds over time. The only time you see the results is after a long period of time of consistency and persistence. Keyword, guys. The P word. Persistence, not packing. Persistence. Persistence to keep going and keep striving even when you don't see results. And also to use pragmatism. When something isn't working, you find a different way to make it work. For example, if you go into the gym and you're lifting the weights and you can't seem to contract a certain part of the muscle, let's say you're doing your shoulders or your incline press, but you realise you're not hitting the right part, you're hitting your shoulders instead of your upper chest. So there's an issue there which needs to be resided and looked after, right? So there's working hard, but there's also working smart. You can't just keep lifting at a stupid rate. Sure, I guess if you keep being persistent, you will make results, sure. But it's important to have your form checked. That's why it's important to have someone who can help you with those things. You see that big hench guy in the gym, you go and ask him, hey mate, can you help me do this? That's fine. He's not going to look at you like a weirdo. He does not care. He does not hate all Asian people, like every Asian seems to think now these days. Trust me, they do not care, okay? So going back to the topic of short-term pleasure, long-term gain. It's hard for your pea brain to understand this because you just want it now. You want the satisfaction now. Beating your meat, long-term, if you don't do that, you feel amazing, guys. Have you been on NoFap or celibacy for a long time? It feels incredible. You go back to Salman Bhai, and what Bhai did is he stopped talking to the girls. He went to the gym 3 times a week. He started eating clean, real foods. You need to understand that the short-term pleasure is nothing in comparison to the feeling of the long-term gain. I'm gonna say that again. The short-term pleasure is nothing in comparison to the feeling of long-term gain. Once you get those long-term results, you won't go back, I'm telling you. You have to compound and you have to be persistent now in order to get those results. So this is the key topic of this video, guys. Short-term pleasure, long-term gain. The long-term gain is so far superior. It's like any relationship and stuff, right? You could hook up with a girl or do something like that, but you won't get that satisfaction as you will as being with one person for a long-term gain, right? And this is really important for you to realise, okay? Because at the minute you probably just, I want to do this and do that and do that, but think long-term, think what's always worked, being in a relationship, going to the gym consistently, eating good, healthy foods. And you guys need to know what actually are healthy, clean foods. Like for example, bread. You might think, whole grain bread is really good, but no, it's not good for you. There's certain foods like that people need to understand. And what we have in our guide at the link in the bio is we've got a free ebook to tell you the certain ways on how to lose weight and lose fat, and it's very simple. Very, very simple. Free information for you. We've got a Discord community. You can join there as well. And we can just help each other and make sure we become the best version of ourselves. And I want this Discord to have no filter. If you're struggling with fapping or you're struggling with this, just say it, man. We can do video calls. We can talk about our problems and make sure we become the best versions of ourselves and the best South Asians within our bloodline. Okay? So it's been a pleasure talking to you guys. Love you all, and I'll see you in the next one. Mwah.